Nigel Dixon, welcome to the Marketing for Business podcast.
Scott, thanks very much for having me.
Mate, this is going to be awesome.
Cheers, mate.
It's going to be a great chat. I think you've done something really exciting that I think a lot of people probably think about doing. Especially even over COVID and as they reassess their lives and stuff. They may probably, a lot of people watching this may have thought, you know what, I'm going to start my own business. But you've actually done that. You've started your own business, and it's called Primal Kiwi. Excited to have this conversation because I think, you've got a great story to tell. But let's go back a little bit because you've also done some interesting jobs.
It's a bit of a journey. Bit of a journey.
Yeah. Look. So let's go back. So. I find most people that are successful in life have always, they've gone to school, and obviously some of them haven't done so well at school. I can put my hand up for that.
School cert, that's it. Nothing exceptional. Yeah. Nothing exceptional.
So school cert. So like your schooling days, you went to Otago Boys High, is that right?
That's right.
Yep. So obviously, born and bred in the deep south.
Yeah, sort of backwards and forwards. I lived in Christchurch a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but high school was Otago Boys. Yeah.
So what did you do after school?
I worked in a butter factory.
I had
no clue what I wanted to do when I left school. No clue.
Were you tuning the butter?
Yeah.
Yeah?
And yeah. Just labouring and yeah.
Hard case.
And got invited to do a dairy diploma.
Oh, wow.
The dairy industry used to pay pretty good back
then.
And I thought, what happens there? You still had to put on white overalls and a funny hat and turn up at the factory every day. Oh, no, that's not really me.
So you were getting a diploma in butter? Or
I didn't do it. I went, no, thanks anyway. Yeah. So, after about 21 months, I decided that being a chippy would be a good idea.
Okay. Were you good on the tools? Like you're quite a handy cook?
Yeah, I was all right on the tools. So I did my time as a chippy and... that was good. Mitchell Elm at Dunedin and worked in Australia. And
so you obviously got qualified?
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't know that. I've got a few jobs around my house.
Yeah. I'm not much use these days. It's a long time ago, Scott.
So I know you went to Australia and you're actually a pearl diver. Like, how exciting is that? Because, I've been fishing with you a couple of times and you put your hand up straight away, jump in the water, and to me, that just seems a bit scary. But, where did you do that? Were you in Australia doing that?
Yeah, Western Australia and Northern Territory. The pearling industry there, I don't know if they do the job anymore. I think they gave it up. But back then we used to get towed through the water. We used to go hundreds of miles out in the Timor Sea and out of Darwin.
Oh, really?
And sleep on the boat every night and dive every day and get towed through the water and pick up pearl shell and get paid per shell.
Really?
Mm.
And what was at pearls? Were you looking for pearls?
You're looking for the shell.
Yeah.
And then you catch the small ones, went off to the pearl farm and got operated on, and they grew cultured pearls. And the big shell got killed for the mother of pearl.
Yeah.
And the pearl meat. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you find any pearls? Would you slip a few in the pocket, or what was the?
I was possibly a touch honest. I found a cracker on a pearl farm.
Really?
Yeah. But went to the boss.
Went to the boss.
Yeah.
Interesting. How do you fall into a job like that? Is that just you being curious at the time? Obviously, you were interested in diving, and then thought, "Hey, I'll do this." Well, what was the go there?
Yeah. Look, when I got into it, I was chippying. I was operating as a chippy in Dunedin, and I had some health issues, and I couldn't do that too much.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it anymore. We had a friend of a friend had gone and heard about this pearl diving in Western Australia and Northern Territory, and I thought, that sounds pretty cool. It sounded pretty dangerous also.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But I was real keen to get out of Dunedin.
Did they talk about sharks at all?
A little bit. Still the odd one. You're usually looking at the bottom. You're too busy looking at the bottom, right. Because trying to see shell.
So are they moving you across, so you're getting dragged across while...
Yeah, fishing trawler, booms hang out the side, ropes down to blocks of lead weight, and then a work line hanging back off that. And you're hanging on to the work line, getting towed through the water, swimming from side, swimming wherever you've got to pick up the shell, and your rear got fed to you through a hose from the surface from a compressor on the boat.
Yeah. Mm. Oh, that's quite dangerous, eh?
Well, look, it sounds a bit silly when you look back at it, and that might be why they don't do it anymore. But it was certainly an adventure.
Yeah. Okay, so what were some of the things you learnt there? Like, what did you learn about yourself? Because that would have been, how old were you back in those days?
Late 20s.
Yeah, so pretty bulletproof.
Yeah, well, you think you are.
Yeah, totally. Everyone in their 20s thinks they're bulletproof.
Yeah.
What were you learning? Obviously, you had some health issues. So what were you, was that helping your health issues? Or?
I thought it would. It didn't, and my health played up there as well, which was limiting. You could make a lot of money in a dive season there in a short season. But your health's everything.
Yeah.
And and that was probably it was probably another knock. It was building and then diving. There was a couple of things that I was quite good at. That just I couldn't do anymore. So you look around, you go, gee, what next?
Yeah. So what was next? I know you got into radio and real estate.
I arrived back in New Zealand and I had to do something less physical.
Yeah.
And you go, and no one else was going to pay the bill. What am I going to do? So I climbed out of a wetsuit and got into a proper suit and went and sold real estate.
Wow. And who did you sell real estate for?
That was Challenge Wayne Graham Realty. In Dunedin. Yeah. Many years ago.
And did you enjoy that? Like, was that something you enjoyed, or were you just like filling time?
I did. I did enjoy it, and fortunately kicked off really well, and had a really good 3 years in that industry. And I learned heaps about sales and negotiation and property. Yeah, and it was real interesting. And I would recommend that industry to this day to young people wanting to get ahead. If you go and there's no big capital outlay, and you can learn a lot.
Obviously learning on your feet too, like how to deal with people, how to negotiate, that type of stuff, which are all vital skills for life. So I guess interestingly though, the health issue kind of stopped you doing what you really love, obviously building and diving and that sort of stuff, and then so you found another career and really enjoyed it, and then progressed into is that when you progressed into radio?
I had 3 years at Courier Post. The downside of the real estate is obviously there's a lot of nights and weekends. Yes. And look, I couldn't recommend it highly enough. If you want to get in, I wouldn't go into it lightly. You look at the next 10 years and knuckle down and that for someone with not a lot of capital wanting to make some significant income. Yeah, it's a good industry. Nice. But it does steal your life a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, you're constantly working on, like you deal with any real estate agent, they're always calling you at night and that sort of stuff, right? Yeah. So I know you worked for MediaWorks for a while, and did you enjoy that? Like because you dealt with a whole bunch of different business owners and that sort of stuff. Like,
yeah, look, we had a ball back in the day. Industries go through their strengths and weaknesses, and the radio industry was a lot of fun. Yeah. As far as mainstream media, TV. Print and radio was probably the poor cousin. Yeah. But that made it all pretty lively, and there was deals, wheeling and dealing, and deals to be done, and had a lot of parties and trips, and a lot of fun along the way.
Yeah, you met a lot of good business owners along the way too, right?
Absolutely.
So and I guess that's the coolest part. So when did the idea start to percolate for creating your own thing though? Like, because I think a lot of people, they have ideas of starting a business. When did that start to come into your mind?
I think you sort of need to understand your risks, I guess. And I may not have liked to have been working for the likes of MediaWorks. I think I was there 18 years or something. Might not have wanted to be there that long, but I still always had an ongoing health risk. Yeah. So you think, if you're going to go into any business, what are your risks? What's the downside? Yep. And for me, it was if I went and started a business and hired staff and got premises and got costs and overheads, and then I couldn't operate it. Yeah. Particularly, and it would have been borrowed money to do it. You're putting your house at stake, or and when you got kids and you got responsibilities, it's not an easy decision to go and do something like that. No. Yeah.
So the health risk that you had, and the kind of, I guess, why you've morphed into this business, what was happening to your health? Because I think a lot of people probably, there's people that are in that sort of similar situation where their health probably was holding them back a little bit. So what was happening for you at that time?
I won't bore you with the
but be real. We might as well be real about it, right? Yeah. Like so what was? I don't think people get bored.
No. So originally, I landed in hospital when I was in Australia the first time, and I think there's a wee bit of story about that on the website as far as the story goes. But I was pretty close to dead then.
Jeepers.
And then sort of 10 years later, it sort of emerged as a bit of a genetic condition there, which you really just got to manage, and you don't get too much warning on.
Yeah.
And what I did learn along the way is that we all have a weakest genetic link, every one of us.
Yeah.
So if we put our bodies under stress, something's going to give up. There'll be something that gives up first.
Okay.
Unless there's an external circumstance.
And when you talk stress, are you talking physical stress, mental stress, both? What was the?
Yep. Toxicity.
Okay.
Toxicity in your body.
Okay, toxicity.
And that can come through external factors. Yeah, this is aside from unless you have an accident or you're exposed to, you smoke too many cigarettes, right? Some people get cancer, some won't. Yeah. But we generally all have a weakest genetic link. Okay. So if we treat ourselves badly, we drink too much booze and we eat the wrong tucker and smoke cigarettes and don't sleep properly. Yeah. And some people get heart disease, some people get cancer. You can see it run through. There's a genetic factor there. Yep. You can see it cancer runs through families, or dad died of a heart attack and so did granddad, whatever it is. Something is going to get us in the end. We've all got something that's going to get us. We haven't sorted that out yet.
No, we haven't. If you're watching and you've got the answer, let us know.
Yeah. So there's a field of theory, medicine, if you like, called epigenetics, which is beyond genetics.
Yep.
So that risk factor you've got a risk factor for cancer, for example.
Yep.
It's what environment do you create for yourself internally, inside your body and outside your body, to delay when that gets you.
Yeah.
Are you going to get cancer at 20, or are you going to get cancer at 120?
Yeah. Okay. So you're, I guess, you're going through your health challenges, and that starts to percolate. Hey, geez, I need to look better off. I need to look at ways to be better with my health and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So did you start to do things for your health, or start to research? What were you doing to improve your situation? Because you need to be near death and then to still be alive. You're obviously doing some things right.
Yeah, but look, I was told when I was 35 years ago or something, 34 years ago, that I'd probably be on medication for life, and the long-term prognosis of that medication wasn't good. And I did a few months of it, and it was hindering the lifestyle, and you go, and then it came up again, sort of 10 years later as well, when the whole genetic testing wasn't around when I was 23.
No. So did you start to question some of the medicine that you're getting, and had the side effects, that type of stuff? So obviously you start to think, hey, there's got to be better ways.
Yeah.
Is that where you're getting to?
Yeah, exactly. I just said, okay, why did this start happening now? What have I done? And this didn't happen before.
Were you looking at your lifestyle at that stage? Like, was the stress of what you were doing not helping, or was it the stress of what you were doing after?
Look, it was with the first time I got crook. Yeah, it was. Just sort of pushing too hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, burning the candle at both ends.
ends.
So you start looking around and you read the odd book, and I read a book when I was 27, Eat Right for Your Type.
Okay.
A bloke by the name of Diadamo, and then Live Right for Your Type, and that sort of started. That was one of the early ones. That's more than 30 years ago. You start reading books and you start looking into health protocols, and the interesting thing is you go and talk to your GP.
Yeah.
or a specialist or whatever, and you start talking about natural therapies, and they don't want to know.
You would have been some sort of freak back in the day, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. They don't want to know. They're not trained in it.
No.
And they are trained in their specialist field.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, it's around prescribing drugs.
Yeah, where they make their money.
Yeah. Where the whole their sector of training is funded.
It's funded by So it makes sense, right?
So if you don't go and talk to those people if you want advice around nutrition,
no,
because you're not getting it. Good advice.
No,
they'll promote the food pyramid.
So you started to okay, cool. I'm going to go on a self-education journey because I'm not taking that medication because that's not good for my lifestyle. You could feel it, or you could sense, hey, I don't want to be like that. So you started to, I guess, self-educate yourself on what was good for you. And did you start to talk to other people about this as well and realize there's something to this?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's quite a fast evolving field.
Yep.
Back when I started, there was no internet. It was hard to get your hands on information, and the internet has really sped up the release of information. In a lot of cases, it's the reintroduction of ancient knowledge.
Yes.
Hence the name on our products. Primal Kiwi.
Primal Kiwi.
It's wisdom and knowledge that's been around. Like everyone these days wants a double-blind, placebo-controlled study. Well, we've been around for tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, and those tests have been around for about, I don't know, 100 years.
Yeah. So for you start to strip it back, you start to learn more using the internet, meeting people. Where did the idea for the business start to come alive though? Because where was that starting to grow just in your head? Did you start to think, hey, well, or were you starting to do stuff for yourself and realize, hey, this stuff's working, and maybe I need to help more people? What was
exactly. Look, New Zealand, Australia, America, we're right up there in countries with severe obesity rates.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
And we're some of the worst in the world. And you look at the information out there. It took me 30 years to sort of work my way through and trial and error, and you try all sorts of supplements. I spent a small fortune on nutritional supplements. Trying to sort things and trying things out and getting poor results, or something will work for a while and then it won't. And as you look at that food pyramid, you look at the knowledge around dietary protocols, and you look at all the diet plans, people are selling them flat out. You've got your Jenny Craigs and your Weight Watchers and this, that, and the other. And look, people can get some great results from time to time. And then there's quite a bunch that fall off the wagon and don't find it sustainable long term. Yeah.
So for you though, you were looking to help your particular issue that you had.
Yeah.
And so where did you start finding answers? Was it just through purely testing and measuring that spending all that money on supplements and learning about the more you learn, the more you realize, hey, this works, this doesn't work. If I added this would work, and all that sort of stuff.
Reading it's if you want to see someone's values, what do they do in their spare time?
Yep.
And if you look, I haven't read a novel for decades.
Yep.
If you find what I'm reading, it'll be something online to do with health.
Yeah, nice.
Because I had wherever you have a lack in life, it drives a value.
Yeah,
and
true.
And I had a real health need. So, and then, but once you start down that track and you see results and you work out what works, and you see other people struggling, you see people around you struggling with their health.
Yeah.
And you go, well, mate, I can help with that.
Yeah, nice.
And you learn what works, and I guess that's the job now, is just to get the word out and help as many as possible.
So you've realised, you've found something that works for you, and you've talked to more and more people, and you're like, hey, okay, I've got an idea here. And you've got a strong why behind the business, right? So Primal Kiwi obviously, is driven from what you've experienced, and your why now is to help other people. So we because I think it's interesting, kind of this part of the conversation I want to have before we look at the products is, like, how do you get into action to implement the idea? Because it's real easy not to do a business, right? And I think a lot of people might be sitting there, and we get a lot of business owners watching this, but there'll be other people that have thought of starting a business. How did you get yourself to get to that point where you start a business? Like, were there many sleepless nights? And because I talk to a lot of people about decision making, and I always find decision making really, really interesting. And a lot of people, they don't make decisions, so they don't take that action to execute that business. So what was it for you? Like, were you having sleepless nights? Were you Yeah,
look, it was probably a desire, as I say, probably a desire over decades to start or own my own business.
Yep.
However, because of financial situations and the risk factor of my health, I didn't take action on them.
Yeah.
Because you stay where it's safe. And you go, actually, well, I've got a reasonable income coming from here. I've worked hard to put that together. I was kind of self-employed sales contractor, I guess. So I didn't have a premises overhead, and I hired a PA, but that was it as far as wages go. So the risk was low.
Yeah.
But life changes and the opportunity arises, and I worked out a range of supplements in my head, stuff that I wanted to access, and because you got to buy them from somewhere.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of avenues for that. So, some of the product that we've got in that lineup is it's sought after around the world. New Zealand's, we've got farming practices, and we're seen as clean and green.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of organ meat supplements there. Our organ meats are sought after around the world.
Yeah. So you get to 57 and you say, right, I'm starting this business. Because you don't want to die wondering, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what have you learned, especially early on? Because I think that it's always good to capture some of those learnings. What have you learned early on from starting your business?
Yeah, well, you kind of got to dig deep for your own internal motivation, don't you? Because when you're in business for yourself, what I've found is unless you do something, nothing gets done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no boss.
No.
There's no one, and you go, oh, how am I gonna make this happen?
Yeah.
And you've just got to dig in and find a way.
Yeah. Well, especially early on, because you are your boss, and you are, you have to be accountable to yourself. And at the end of the day, that's not easy for a lot of people to do, right? Like, it's because it's easy not to do.
Yeah.
So you have to dig deep, and you have to put the pressure on yourself, but also you have to have a big enough why. And I think that's, a lot of people, you need to find reasons that you're going to do stuff. And that you want to do stuff, and those reasons have to be big enough. Otherwise, it's easy just to, I won't do it today, or if it gets hard, going, I'll leave that to tomorrow. But tomorrow is not. You needed to be doing stuff today in business, right? And I think that's, so learning to dig deep, and then I guess one of the things I learned about starting a business is you have to back yourself. You have to be prepared to back yourself. You have to look yourself in the mirror and go, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to make this happen. And I think that's that conversation that you can have with yourself. And when it gets tough, you have to have that conversation again sometimes, right? That you are backing yourself here, because you're right. No one else is doing this for you. No matter what, who you have, and all that type of stuff. Even when you grow a team and stuff, you still got to have that conversation that you're backing yourself again and again and again.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. What else have you learned?
Good question.
I know one of the things you've learned. Things take longer.
Things do take longer.
Things take longer.
I've learned patience.
Yeah, patience.
Yeah. And you learn lots of things that you don't know.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've definitely learned from starting a business is things take longer. They always take more time. They always take more money. I always find it interesting when someone comes to me with an idea, and I'm like, even talking to a group of business students the other day, and a lady had an idea, and she was very cagey about it. Didn't want to let anyone know about the idea. And I said, look, with all due respect, someone else is actually doing this idea right now. Oh, no, not the way I'm doing it. I said, yeah, they're not going to be putting you into the idea. Not you're going to bring you to the marketplace, but the idea you have, someone else is already doing it.
Yep.
And so you need to realize what you're going to do is going to take longer, and it's going to take more money. So the more you start now, today, the better it's going to be, because someone else is going to come with the idea. And if you don't, you're going to wake up one day and go, Jesus, they're doing my idea.
Yeah, dead right. You got to have some trusted people around you. You got to have some stuff you can, and you've also got to be, I guess, commercially aware. I sat down with a guy a couple of days ago, and he'd just hadn't quite got his trademarks in place the way he should have.
Yeah.
And someone came, got wind of what he was up to,
yeah,
and did it out from under him with his name, and he'd already spent a bit of money on that. So yeah. So you got to be commercially aware and not too trusting, but yes, you do. You've got to get some people on side. And
I think having those trusted partners is really key too, right? As you grow or grow a business, you need people that have kind of walked in some of those steps to be able to help you.
Exactly, Scott, and that's of course where you come in. You guys we've got a few years down the track now. I knew you, and that's where you come in.
Yeah. So Primal Kiwi, and let's start talking about some of the products, because I think what you've created here, and I love the name Primal Kiwi. When you look at, like, obviously the products are. Oh, let's talk about this beef brain to start with. Like, to me, beef brain,
sounds terrible.
If I said to my wife, I'm going to take beef brain, she'd go, what's happened to you? But I guess let's look at the philosophy around the products first, and then we'll go into each individual products themselves. But the whole philosophy around Primal Kiwi first, for the people watching.
Yeah, so animal products, because there's a big push on at the moment for going vegetarian and vegan and plant-based, and there's a bit of a push coming towards eating insects.
Yep.
On my health journey, trying a multitude of supplements over years, what you find is that there can be some great herbal supplements.
Yep.
Herbs, spices. Most of our pharmaceuticals are synthetic copies of something found in nature.
Okay.
So if you look at most of our So, but what you find, the herbs and plants can have some great benefits. They've also got a bunch of anti-nutrients.
Yeah.
So
true.
Okay. So
So because plants have to survive, and the way they survive is by creating things that people
exactly like an animal's got hooves and legs, and it can run away, and it's got teeth, and it can scratch and bite and claw, and that's its defense mechanisms. Once it's on the ground, it doesn't have any defense mechanisms. No. Whereas a plant's stuck right there in the ground. It's got they can have some, we know some plants can kill you instantly. Yeah. But they've got a lot of anti-nutrients and toxins in them. Yeah. And that can cause a lot of problems. And I believe insects have as well. Yeah. So this whole push with.
So you look at animal based supplements, animal products. Yep. So the beef brain. What's that going to do for me? Who is this for? And I guess what is it to start with? Because I'm really interested in, and I know a lot of people listening are. Because you've got some really cool supplements. So let's look at the beef brain first.
Yeah. So the beef brain product is full of brain-specific lipids and proteins. Mm-hmm. So every organ has its own specific nutrients, or an abundance of them that's needed for that organ. So the whole philosophy behind Primal Kiwi and that traditional eating pattern, and you look back over at indigenous populations around the world, and people who live in a very traditional way, they value the organs the most highly. It's a philosophy of like supports like.
Okay.
So you're taking in nutrients in their most natural organic form that are as close to what you need, because we all have a cellular turnover all the time. Sometimes there's physical injuries, but we are constantly renewing all the time.
Yeah. So that kind of supplement, what will that do for me? If I take that long enough over a period of time, what could I, what kind of sort of outcome can I expect from? Will it make me brand new?
We've got to replace and grow brain cells. Replace and grow brain cells. We've got to you like a beer?
Yeah.
Kill a few when you're doing that.
Yeah.
Right. So how do we replace those?
Oh, nice.
Mood, emotions.
Yeah.
Cognitive performance.
Nice.
Athletic dexterity. The ability to.
So for like the likes of athletes, then that kind of.
We call that intel because there's a lot of different types of intelligence.
Nice.
Not just being a professor. Not just intellectual.
That's cool.
But we have an innate intelligence that's driving everything, every aspect of our body through to, as I say, executive function. Throwing a ball, you like cricket.
People with
fast reactions.
Yeah, getting a little bit of brain fog and that sort of stuff. Is that going to help that sort of?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people have that these days, right? Brain fog's become quite a big thing, for people.
Yes.
I think especially with the likes of COVID and everything and all the stresses that go on in life now, there's so much more pressure on people. So, I think brain fog, from talking to a number of people, is something that's become a bit of an issue. So something like that can help them over time.
It really has. And something I want to talk about at this point is alongside, and I think I said it to you earlier in the piece, you can't supplement your way out of a really poor diet.
Yes. Yeah, true.
Okay. So these supplements and the best supplements in the world.
Yeah.
If you are abusing your body in other ways, it's hard to recover from that. They'll help.
Yeah.
But there's some basics, and probably the biggest challenge. We can look around. As I say, we've got very high obesity rates, and
we're eating too much and not moving, or eating the wrong stuff and not moving enough properly, right?
And I want to promote people learning about metabolic flexibility. Yeah.
So let's talk a wee bit about that, because that's really interesting. It's the first time I've kind of heard it when you said it before. Metabolic flexibility. What is that?
So most of us know something about our macros. We've got proteins, we've got carbohydrates, and we've got fats.
Yep.
And we've had an education system and a food pyramid for the last 50 or 60 years or more that has driven carbohydrate-fueled eating.
Yeah.
And there's been whole promotions around.
We learnt it.
eating many small meals a day.
Yeah.
Oh, you should be eating. So many times a day, and what happens is carbohydrates, all of them. So most of us have learned in recent times that too much sugar is bad for us. But every carbohydrate breaks down to sugar.
Yep. Yeah. True.
Right? So it turns into blood sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and blood sugar elicits an insulin response.
Yep.
And insulin is a storage hormone.
Yeah. So you'll store more.
So you can take in great fats, even if you're eating healthy fats. If you're eating them with a high carbohydrate, high blood sugar diet, your body won't use the fat; it'll store it.
Yeah. So why a lot of males get that kind of
that's the motor.
Yeah.
That's the motor on the front, often for blokes and for women more around the hips.
Yeah.
Now, your body doesn't burn the carbohydrate and the blood sugar because it's the best fuel.
Yep.
But it burns it because it's toxic.
Okay.
So it's got to get rid of it. Your body has
yep.
to get rid of that sugar.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of us walking around with a whole lot of stored energy.
Yeah, yeah.
So to give you an idea, your total blood sugar is only, the sugar in your blood's about a teaspoon.
Okay. That's fascinating.
Your stored energy in the form of blood sugar
yep.
and glycogen in your muscles, they estimate for around people about 1,700 calories.
Okay.
So if you're operating on blood sugar
yep.
and glucose
yep.
and glycogen, if that's your main fuel source, you need to be taking that in pretty regularly. Otherwise, you get these dips. You know, you're running out of energy.
3 o'clock afternoon.
Crashing.
Yeah.
Because your blood sugar's dropped, or you've had a big carbohydrate meal, and the insulin kicks in.
Yeah.
And it makes you tired.
So is that why people reach for like the Coca-Cola in the afternoon and that type of stuff? You know,
another lift and another crash, and you end up with this this very up and down energy levels.
Yeah.
So your body's got to get rid of that sugar.
Yeah.
And if you've got blood sugar and insulin running around in your system, you're not going to burn body fat.
No.
And you're not going to burn the fat that you're ingesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So for a start, we're going to have healthy fats.
Yeah.
But we need to lower our carbohydrate intake in order to access.
Wow.
That and utilize that fat.
So do your supplements here help people do that, or like?
Yeah. Well, the other bit of it is when you're taking in a lot of that carbohydrate and sugar, blood sugar, it's very acidifying to your blood.
Yep.
And what happens is we have to stay at a pH level of 7.36. Okay. So there's the scale of 0 to 14.
Yep.
And 0 being acid that'll burn through metal, and through to 14 is very alkaline. We need to be at about 7.36, otherwise we die.
Okay.
If you get to 6.8 or 7.8, you're gone. 7.36 is the number there or thereabouts.
Wow.
It's a very subtle thing.
Yeah.
We can't. So our body's always working to maintain that. So if we're taking in a lot of carbohydrate and sugar, our body's working really hard to alkalize. And what it does is it robs nutrients and minerals
from other areas.
Yeah, so so calcium is the most alkalizing mineral. That's why you see a lot of children with teeth cavities, and you see old people with osteoporosis.
Yeah,
their body's constantly robbing the calcium
out of the bones
to alkalize the blood.
Wow.
for your short-term survival.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
that is interesting. Yeah.
So if we can, your traditional populations, they don't eat, the ones with the greatest longevity don't eat a lot of carbohydrate or sugar.
No.
The Eskimos, America.
Yeah.
They get the bulk of their calories from animal fat.
Yeah, totally.
Fish and seals and.
Yeah, well, my wife watched a program called the Blue Zones. It's certain areas around the world where people have the longevity, and it's totally that, right? Yeah. Okay, so we've covered off the brain, beef brain.
So as far as brain fog goes, it's a symptom of that carbohydrate feeding,
Yeah.
And yes, that'll put back a bunch of the nutrients.
Perfect. Beef organs. Okay, so I guess this one's a multi. So talk us through this one and who should be taking that and why.
There's few people on the planet that wouldn't benefit from this.
Okay.
Liver, heart, kidneys, pancreas, spleen.
Yep. 5
really important organs. We blended these in ratios that fit the same as what we have in our own bodies and the animals that they come from.
Okay.
So a lot of them.
Why do you do that?
To get the same sort of balance of nutrients that you need.
Yep.
So a lot of companies, and there are other companies out there that sell organ meats.
Yep.
And typically they will throw the same amount of everything in.
Yep.
But our pancreas and spleen are a lot smaller than our liver.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
So we've blended these together.
So is that hard to do?
There was a bit of calculation to work it out, and it's not an exact science because all our own organs are a little bit different. We took averages, also the animals, like different breeds of cow will have a different, some variant, but we're there or thereabouts.
Nice.
Yeah.
So some real thoughts have gone behind these products as well, I like as well. But so that's a multi. Most people could take that and what sort
it's a superfood.
What sort of benefits would you see from that kind of longevity of taking that?
So they're whole beef organs, so they've got the naturally occurring fats in them, so then they haven't been defatted.
Okay.
And in nature, protein and fat always occur together.
Yep.
So you put that together.
Nice.
If you look at a predator animal, go and pull down some prey.
Yep. They'll eat the organs.
The first thing they'll do is they'll get into the organs and they'll get into the brain. If they can get into the brain, you watch a cat catch a rabbit.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're straight into the brains and the organs.
Yeah.
That's the bit they eat first. And you look at indigenous populations, they prize the organs.
Yeah.
They feed the muscle meats to the dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. we eat it the other way, right?
Well, exactly. And our palates we've been so long on high sugar, high carbohydrate diets, we don't like the taste of organs.
No, true.
Like not many, you don't see people cooking up organ meats very often.
Yeah, not. Well, my dad used to be a freezing worker, and he'd bring home stuff, and it was like, whoa, no thanks.
Yeah.
But that was just the idea of it, right? As well. Some of it was actually quite tasty once you tried it, but because you had to. But yeah, most people wouldn't do that these days.
No.
Okay, so we've got a couple of beauties here. I think this is a great one. The Connect. So this is about cartilage and collagen. This is like, I guess, a lot of people are taking kind of supplements for that now.
Yes.
What's different about this one for you?
So a lot of you. So collagen makes up about 30% of the total protein in our bodies. There's more collagen than anything else.
Yeah.
So all your connective tissue, skin, hair, nails, tendons, ligaments, cartilage.
Yeah.
It's in your bones, so it's what gives your bones flexibility, and it's another nutritional element that gets robbed through poor diet.
So, like, I don't know, like for the likes of me, going to the gym and all that sort of stuff, and playing cricket over the years, I've got a few, like if I bend my knee, I can hear it go crunch and all that sort of stuff. Is that sort of stuff over time going to help me?
Yeah, well, look, there's varying reports. Some people say those, like serious injuries can't repair, and others say they can.
Yeah.
Certainly from that degenerative stuff, we have to put in, you got to put back what's been taken out.
What's been taken out. So it's not going to harm me, that's for sure. It's going to actually help.
It's and look, women often take, and it's a beauty product, they'll take collagen to make their hair shiny and their nails strong and all the rest. And it's awesome stuff for that because those things are growing all the time and they're turning over and needing replaced. Yeah, absolutely. You'll be.
I'm sold.
Yeah. But our bodies, my understanding is our bodies will always, they'll prioritise our nutrients for our long term, for our survival first.
Nice. Yes.
Okay. So a woman might take a collagen supplement to make her nails stronger.
Yes.
And that collagen can make the nails stronger, but your body, when it ingests it, it might go, actually, we need it in our bones because we've been short on collagen for the last 10 years.
So the body will prioritise.
It'll prioritise for survival first.
And I think that's so interesting because you didn't know that the way the body works, right? And I think, you buy supplements and then you might think, it's not really doing what it's supposed to do, but it actually is doing something. But the body is prioritising it first.
Well, you might find, some might find that their tendons get stronger, or they took it to make their hair nice, and their sore knee went away.
Yeah,
and over time, the hair will get.
Yeah, it'll do what it's supposed to.
It'll get where they originally took it for, but we can't always, and that's the same with any collagen product. You can't direct where where your body's going to put it. Yeah, it's going to put it where it sees most important. And a lot of collagen supplements are mixed up with they're going to go in a smoothie or something. They've got a whole lot of flavorings, either a sugary flavoring or
are they animal collagens, or are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is trachea and scapular cartilage
Okay.
that's been freeze dried.
Wow.
And then ground down and desiccated very, very finely to give every particle as much surface area as possible.
Brilliant.
So that your body can digest it very easily and utilize it very easily.
It's interesting. Like like I think the more and more I learn about this, you realize that there is still a lot to learn. But it's great that a person like you has done the research here. This one here, I love this. It's called rocket fuel. It's beef tallow. Now, firstly, explain to me what beef tallow is and why is it called rocket fuel?
This is fat, mate.
Okay. So if
This is fat.
Well, here's the thing. If I take that, will I get fat?
If you keep eating a high carbohydrate diet, if you're eating carbohydrates multiple times a day, and that's where you're getting your energy source, and you take rocket fuel, your body's probably going to push it into storage. That might make you fat.
Yeah. So if you're not though, say if I'm having my lettuce and I'm having my sausages or my steak and I'm eating reasonably well, without maybe a couple of times a week we have chips. Can I take that, or do
Absolutely.
I have to,
Look, anyone wanting to get fat adapted, and there's a lot of talk about
fat adapted,
ketogenic diets, which are fat burning diets. Ketogenic, fat adapted. That is a brilliant product. The stearic acid and omega fatty acids in there stimulate your body to start burning its own body fat. So if you want to burn fat, eat fat.
Yeah. So interesting there though. So will I start to feel hotter, when I'm taking it, or how will I know it's working? Like
if you combine that with a low carbohydrate diet, you will burn body fat.
Nice.
And no, you typically, like for a lot of people, there's a transitional phase. What happens is if we've had decades of fueling on carbohydrates and not burning fat for fuel, that we have the metabolic machinery in us to do that, but it's shut down. It's like the plant's shut.
Yeah.
Because it's had no use because we've been feeding it regularly on carbohydrates. They talk about a process of 21 days of significant carbohydrate restriction to get adapted to burning fat.
Yeah.
And you might feel we're not at the start. You won't be particularly efficient at it.
Yep. But then once it kicks in,
far more stable energy levels.
Yeah.
None of this up and down.
Yeah.
And our cravings go away. Brain fog, inflammation, things that are wrong disappear. And
so there's a challenge,
and excess weight.
So there's a real challenge for people. If you do have a few of those things going on, maybe it's time to draw a line in the sand and go, you know what, give this product a go, the 21 days. What would they take with that? So like if they've got this, what other supplements would they be taking? Or can you just take this by itself?
If someone, I'd have multi beef organs. It's a superfood.
Yep.
Like the nutrients in there, they are true superfoods.
Okay.
Not like plants. Beef organs, tallow, and bee pollen and our omega. Bee pollen and omega max brilliant products.
Okay, let's just talk about this bee pollen because they've got a couple of here. Like this here, the granules. What actually is that? Is that pollen? Like
that's pollen from plants and trees collected by bees.
Yeah.
For us.
Wow. So that there, you can like how do you take that? Like it's granules.
Yeah, I spoon a couple of teaspoons at a time in my mouth and chew it up as much as I can.
Brilliant. And then obviously if you don't, you can take pills, right?
Yeah.
So this was interesting because I was asking about hay fever and all that type of stuff. Is this sort of stuff going to help? It seems counterintuitive that pollen kind of makes me have hay fever, but if I take it,
it actually acclimatizes you. So a lot of people will take pollen to get over hay fever. So we've got lymph nodes under our tongues. So everything you put in your mouth, the lymph nodes under your tongue study whatever's there, and that's what signals your digestive system to start working. It tells your digestive system what food's coming next.
Okay.
And your lymph nodes, it works away on your immune system and acclimatizes you to the pollens that are in the air. So a lot of people will take bee pollen to overcome hay fever symptoms.
Wow.
And they say you need to take it regularly for a few weeks prior to hay fever season.
Yeah, but you have to take pills anyway,
Yeah, and this stuff's good. Yeah, there's 250 plus nutrients in there.
Wow.
All in their organic form.
Yeah.
In perfect ratios. So we talk about plants not wanting to be eaten, but pollen is what plants put out that they do want to be eaten.
Yeah. Okay.
Pollen's the thing that it's put out there as bee food.
Yeah.
The bee is put out to be as attractive as it possibly can. It's absolutely nutrient dense, and it's classed as a whole food. You can probably live on it for an awfully long time.
Oh wow. Man, I didn't know any that sort of. Yeah, that's very cool. It looks cool too. So
look, it tastes great. We put some in capsules for people that don't like the taste. I haven't had anyone say that they don't like the taste, but some people prefer to take a capsule rather than chew it up. I like to chew it up as well.
Why else should people take this one? You call it buzz. Like what else? What's another reason people should take that?
It's a powerful anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
So and inflammation goes on with just about any disease.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drugs out there to lower inflammation. This is a natural anti-inflammatory, antihistamine, antibacterial, antifungal.
Nice. So it will help with like sinuses and stuff like that?
Can do.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. It sometimes it's a matter of, if there's a problem with sinuses, it's also a matter of, are you taking in something that's causing that problem?
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the thing people need to look at too, is you do need to be doing some of that testing. Hey, not eating this, not eating that, that type of stuff.
And so often it's plant toxins.
Yeah.
And like really often it's plant toxins. And for people that have severe allergies or health issues that they can't, they're struggling to overcome, an elimination diet, the most powerful elimination diet is a carnivore diet.
Yeah.
Meat only.
Meat only.
Meat, maybe a bit of salt and some water. And funny, and some people can live that way for years. And that they live for decades. There's doctors, and one bloke's a doctor and an athlete, and he's living on meat and salt and water.
Yeah, good.
I'm not suggesting that's the best diet for everyone.
No.
But as far as an elimination diet, and then clearing up symptoms, and then you can reintroduce foods and you work out what's causing you a problem.
Yeah. Very cool. So this one here is krill. So obviously Omega Max. Talk to me about that, because there's obviously you've got beef here, you've got bees, and now you're introducing the fish as well, or krill.
Yeah, so probably omega-3 fatty acids would probably be one of the most, if not the most studied nutrient. There's so many studies on omega-3.
Yep.
And people can get online and read up on omega-3s. I looked around, I wanted an omega supplement in the lineup, and I believe krill oil's the best on the planet.
Nice.
So
why is that?
It's very, very high in choline, and it's a phospholipid form of omega.
What does that
3.
mean?
Means highly absorbable by ourselves.
Okay.
So it's more absorbable, and then there's a astaxanthin, which is a naturally occurring antioxidant.
Yep. Is that why they're red?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those little krill are red.
Yeah.
And the substance that makes them red is that antioxidant called astaxanthin.
Yep.
And extremely powerful antioxidant. So great for us. And like an interesting sort of byproduct, and we don't want to get a whole lot of people sunburned, but I would say this here, you can buy the astaxanthin as its own supplement, just as not as a krill oil.
Okay.
But this here would probably, for most people, double their safe sun exposure time.
Oh wow!
So you get in the
that's cool.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. You get out in the sun on the beach, and if you would have got burnt in 20 minutes before, it might take 40 minutes. Or
really?
If you were good for an hour before,
because you've built up that level of protection.
Yeah, that antioxidant and you find you get out of the shower and you burn yourself a bit and it's a bit sore. You'll find it's not as sore. You might if you do go a bit red, you'll probably find it'll turn into a tan rather than your skin fall off.
Well, that's perfect for coming into the New Zealand summer, right? Because how many Kiwis are going to get burnt? So it's interesting. That's a byproduct of it, right? Like that's just cool.
But the omega-3s, you got omega-3s in every cell in your body. It's part of your structure of your cells.
Yep,
got to have them. We want to replace it.
That's so good. Like, I don't know about you, but people listening and watching, I've learned a lot already. You can tell Nigel's really, really passionate about the subject. And look, when you look at your health now, you know, from near death to years later, and now creating your own product line to actually help more people. What are you like? How's your health traveling now?
Oh, I'm healthier than I was 30 something years ago.
Yeah.
So the things that I couldn't do 30 something years ago, probably could now.
Yeah, because you're pretty active, right? You're diving, hunting, fishing. You're doing a whole bunch of stuff, mountain biking, you name it. You're kind of doing it, right? So I guess what are you most proud of when you look at what you've created so far? What's getting you up in the morning when it comes to creating this business?
You started a business, there's lots of work went into it.
Yeah.
And look, this came out of a heap of challenges, literally over decades, and trying stuff out and working out what works, and it probably is, they say if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want.
Zig Ziglar.
And was it him? Yeah, I can't remember.
It was.
And look, I know we can help a lot of people. I know we can help a lot of people with the combination of this and some of the knowledge that's in here and getting the word out about metabolic flexibility, teaching people how to make that transition. And this is awesome for sports people. Your beef tallow, that'll go great. Some people have a really high calorie thing. So for sports people and people wanting to increase their performance, this stuff's awesome. But there's a whole heap of us that are never going to be professional athletes that are walking around out of shape, tried lots of diet plans that haven't worked. Health problems. I know we can help.
Nice. And as we move in, this episode will come out around December, so we jump into that whole new year period. People really will probably a great advantage getting into 2024. Where can they find this product?
Primalkiwi.nz.
Primalkiwi.nz. We'll link to this in the show notes, but also you'll see it around. Also, Nigel, what if they wanted to talk to you? Because if you've listened to this and you've come so far and you've got, I've got some health challenges, I'd like to actually have a conversation with you. Where can people connect with you?
That's no problem. There's a contact on the website.
Yep.
Just drop me an email.
Yep.
And we can chat.
Because I think it's there's one thing, we're having a chat to someone who's been through some health challenges, and I think I said to you yesterday on a podcast, a problem shared is a problem halved, right? And I think if you get the right advice at the right time, you really can help a lot of people. So I appreciate you coming on, because I know you're passionate about this, and I know you put a lot into it, and I know you're going to help a lot of people. So if we were going to finish this up and wrap this up, so let's just look future pace to January 2024, and people are looking at their health goals. What's your recommendation? What are some of the three things that they should be looking at?
Get in touch if they've got any questions. Have a look around the website. If they're wondering whether or not it's right for them, get in touch.
Yeah.
There's a great book I read, if you can get your hands on it, Primal Blueprint, Mark Sisson.
Okay.
He's the guy that started Primal Health Coaching.
Yeah.
That's worth getting your hands on.
And what's that going to go into? Like, what's that? Is that the philosophy, the thinking around the primal?
It will explain more around that metabolic flexibility, ketogenic diet, fat burning, and the health benefits of it.
Brilliant. Okay.
It is clean water, clean air, and the right nutrition can fix an awful lot of things.
And also, you want to start with this, and maybe
multi-beef organs for sure.
That one,
yeah,
and the collagen. Would that be your recommendations for people to start to buy straight away?
People will have their own. I think they'll have their own perceived shortfall.
Yeah.
Where they, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
We put together some bundles on the website. For people that have specific needs. They want to work on their joints, or they want to work on workout fuel. So people can go and have a look at those bundles, and we'll put them together with sort of 4 products.
Brilliant. So based on kind of maybe some of the symptoms or how people are feeling, etc.
What they're wanting to do, what they're wanting to achieve.
Okay, cool.
And then, that can be added to or subtracted to, depending on needs and budget and all the rest.
Like, seriously, I've learned a lot here, and I know everyone here probably they've learned a lot as well. Like metabolic flexibility. What do you call it? Fat adaptation. Words I've never heard before, but I really, probably the last hour have got a really good education on the body and how things happen and why things happen. So, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to share it with us. I'm looking forward to helping you grow this business because I know you're going to help more people. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want more information, primalkiwi.nz, go and check out and everything on the website. And then also, hey, look, if you've got questions, just ask this guy. He's got a ton of knowledge, as you've already heard. So, Nigel, thank you for coming on the Marketing for Business podcast.
Thanks for having me on this, Scott. I really appreciate it.
No, it's been awesome. And hey, as always, if you've really enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and maybe, share it with the family, this one, because maybe it's time for, everyone in your family to get in shape and do some really cool stuff. So appreciate your time. Thanks for sharing, and look forward to talking to you really, really soon.